Yeah.
I'm getting post. It says got it. All right, I got it.
You are, in fact, watching The Dorkening.
You're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned.
For all the geek news everywhere. Dorkening.
And this is The Dorkening. Trust me, I'm smarter than these guys.
Because The Dorkening is the best and most educational entertainment and information source that the Trauma team knows of. It's the best. The Dorkening.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you, as always. An amazing guest as well. Can't wait to get into it. But as always, Mr. Velvet Joker, how's it going, bud?
Good evening, everyone. It's your man, Velvet J, here on another award-winning Splash Pages podcast. And we're going to have another fantastic podcast tonight because it's Tuesday night. It's 8 o'clock. We've got news. We've got a fantastic guest that I've learned so much about this week, and we're going to talk to him. But first, I'm going to turn it over to my man or woman. Boom!
Gary, how's it going?
Gary!
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. So glad to have you here. We have a lot of people showing up already. I'm so excited about this. We are going to have a wonderful show. And let's hear from Jeremy. I pick.
Jar Jar.
Wow, how'd she know it was going to me next? That's amazing. I have to say, I'm looking at myself right now. I got to shave. I'm looking horribly ragged.
Focus.
Sorry about that, everybody. And welcome to another Splash Pages. Yay! And over to Drew Mallow.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We have another great splash pages planned. I, of course, am the person who's still not sure why I'm here. I'm Drew. How you doing, everyone? We have great news. We have a hilarious book. We have a wonderful guest that I made sure to put a blazer on for because he's just that fashionable. Artist, co-writer. This guy just puts the awe and awe. Yeah, everybody, give it up for Mr. Art Baltazar.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right, how's it going, guys? We're here.
Art.
We are live. Welcome
Yes,
to the
we
show.
are. Yes, we are. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. So, so how's it going, Art?
It's going good, man. Busy, doing all kinds of stuff, but you know.
Yeah, you're caught up
living a
in
lifestyle.
con season right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of it, in the thick of it, as they say. Yeah,
Into the thick of it.
I forget what I just got back from, and I forget where I'm going next. But I'm going to be
Nice.
driving next weekend. I just flew. I was in Terrificon at Connecticut,
Mhm.
San Diego. I was all over the place. I'm going to Baltimore next week, and then Cincinnati after that.
Oh,
doing a
we were
few
in
local
Maryland
shows.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'll be all over the place, man.
It's awesome.
Mhm.
Drew,
Yeah.
weren't we supposed to have famous cartoonist Art Baltazar on tonight? Why is George Clooney here?
Oh, no, that's fine. Carrie,
Yeah, I know.
no. We're not supposed to draw attention. Art canceled, and George owed Leo a favor. That's why it's here. So we can ask him
I'm
anything.
sorry.
But we ex-nay on the ER Skiday.
Yeah,
Okay, we can talk about Batman and Robin, Just Till Dawn, Up in the Air, all
Julia
Ocean,
Roberts.
up
Yeah.
to 16, but we cannot talk about anything with hospitals. That's a trigger.
True. Yeah. Well, you could ask me anything about Julia Roberts. I have a lot of knowledge with her.
Yeah.
But we get mistaken for all the time. I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but yeah, it's really me.
Uh-huh.
I know that. I think we have the same barber. That's why, you know.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
the same haircut. But
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is uncanny. We're like mutants.
It's I swear you're on some morph level, Art. Like I saw it and I was just like,
I know. That
was like,
happens
what?
a lot, you know. You'd be imagine how much that happens, you know.
I can only imagine. So Art, so the book that we read of yours was one, admittedly, I haven't read, was ArkhaManiacs that you did, of course, with a longtime collaborator, Franco. And what a hoot, man. Like it was just absolutely funny from the beginning to end.
Oh, thanks.
And I had one question because I've read a lot of Tiny Titans, right? And I have to ask, a lot of your stuff that you did with Franco in DC, is it all like one world, one timeline?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's all one universe. That's the way I look at it. Tiny Titans, and then went into Superman Family Adventures. I had Super Pets comics, and I know it's the same because every time I draw Superman, he looks the same, and every time I draw Robin, he looks the same. So yeah, it's all one big universe. I don't know what we call it. I like to call it Earth 63 instead of Earth 52 Earths. I got Earth 63, as I remember saying that one time on a panel, and I got in trouble for it. And the publisher says, "Don't say that anymore," because I said Earth 53, and they said there's only 52 Earths, and it came out in publishing. You know, it was in print.
Right.
And I got yelled at for it. And then on a panel, people asked me again, "What universe is the Titans in?" And
Right.
the publisher looked at me, and I went, "Oh, I'm not supposed to say Earth 53, so it's Earth 63." So that everyone laughed. So yeah, so that's where that came from. But I think everything I draw is all in the same universe, and even my own characters interact with some of these guys very subtly. There's these aliens that I created that make an appearance in every book and every universe that I do, and that ties them all together. And they're from my own characters, my own comics universe. But these aliens are in all my books. Even if there's whenever a spaceship shows up, that's who they are. So all my stuff is linked together somehow, some strange way. And only a few fans have pointed it out, but it's all there.
So I gotta ask, since we're going right into ArkhaManiacs, Bruce is already brooding, and his parents are alive and well.
Yeah. Well, he's
is
not.
is he no matter what going to be Batman in this on this earth? Like,
Oh, you
there's
know,
no.
he's destined. But yeah, his parents are alive, and this is what happens before, and before Bruce's demise. But he's in this
So
story.
he's sour for life.
Yeah, he's destined. He has a destiny. But in this story, he's 8 years old. So it's at least 2 years before the parents go see Zorro, go see that movie. But yeah, he's a curious kid. He doesn't like to listen to authority. So he trusts Alfred, but he doesn't want to do everything Alfred says or his parents say, and he just wants to play with those strange kids who live across the city. And instead of being stuck in the house in his stuffy outfit and his it's no fun to be at home in the mansion, so he wants to go wander out and get in trouble. So that's kind of where he is at the moment. Yeah.
And Art, since bringing up ArkhaManiacs, you took a really different perspective on the Joker. What inspired that particular perspective through imagination in your storytelling?
When we thought about these characters, we were totally thinking of Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes. So Joker is like Bugs Bunny.
But I was going to say he's very Bugs Bunny-ish.
And he seems to bring the sunshine.
Yeah, it's a party wherever he goes. There's all kinds of, when people enter a room and they bring that vibe, or people say their smile lit up the room. That's kind of what the Joker is. He shows up and it's going to be a good time. It's like by the end of the night, you might be coming home on a ship. Coming at that, here he comes. You want to believe what a night I had, fellas? It's kind of like that. He's just bringing it everywhere he goes. He brings the sunshine, brings the party.
Nice.
He's ready to go.
As a big fan of the character of the Joker, I really like your perspective that he doesn't really see himself as a bad guy. He sees himself, he's having a good time, and he's just doing his thing.
That's how all the bad guys are. The bad guys always think they're right. Whether it's a Joker or Lex Luthor or even the Emperor in Star Wars, when he's talking to Anakin in the theater, I'm kind of like, yeah, man, I get it. I want to be a Sith too. Like it sounds better. So when I hear the bad guys talking, and even Lex Luthor talks about how much he hates Superman and how Superman's an alien. Why do we trust him when you have my brilliant mind to trust and he can't get respect? So I'm with the bad guys, and people always say, what lightsaber color would you choose? And I can't, red comes to mind every time. Like, man, red is the right, but I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to be the bad guy, but it makes more sense sometimes, especially when the bad guys, they don't know they're the bad guys. Even Magneto, he doesn't know he's the bad guy either. And I know I'm talking about Marvel guys, but hey, but they're all the same. And Joker doesn't know he's bad. He's just, he likes to watch stuff happen. The Joker likes to watch things happen rather than becoming rich. And he doesn't want to rob a bank. He wants to bother Batman. And like all these other guys, Penguin wants to make money. Mr. Freeze wants to steal diamonds. But the Joker, he just wants to create madness and chaos and get reaction from people. He's almost like those jackass guys. Like they just want to perform a prank in public and then see what happens.
Right.
Get a reaction.
I know I'm doing a lot of references. I'm
referencing
everything.
Art, this is the show to do the references, buddy. I'm telling you. So,
Art, do you want to tell our viewers what the secret of the Joker's head is?
Oh yeah, it may not be attached. I'm not sure because I think there might be a few moments in the book where it's not even attached to his body. I'm not sure, but when I draw sketches of him, I always draw his head like a balloon, like it's floating above his body. It kind of does whatever it wants, and whatever's going on in his head leads the rest of his body. So that's what I always thought about him. But he's such a cool character. He's such like in this one he's not insane. Like he doesn't want to tear his face off or anything like that, or he doesn't want to kidnap Vicky Vale. He just wants to. He just wants to show you stuff, He said, "Hey, check this out." Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask because I was reading it, and this is the first time I ever read it, so I was like, great. And I kind of felt like I kind of wanted to know what you and Franco, like, how do you guys came up with this? Because I saw like the whole thing was like sprinkled with a lot of references. Like Bruce's tour through the apartments kind of reminded me of Batman kind of touring Arkham Asylum in the Arkham book and whatnot. And it was like, again, like, and there are other comic references, one or two I want to kind of address. So how did you guys come up with it? You guys just sitting down and you're just like, hey, let's tell the Arkham story, but let's do it in an apartment.
This is it's a long process it took to actually get this out. When we were doing Tiny Titans early on in the run, we became New York Times bestseller, and then it won an Eisner Award. So my editor asked, what other ideas do you have? We want to spin off some more of your books.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually gave me and Franco the position to art direct like a series of books. So I came up with 4 or 5 new ideas, and I had artists that I reached out to, some of my friends. I was going to write all the stories. Me and Franco would write all the stories, and then I had to assign them to artists. So I had a bunch of guys lined up that we were going to pitch these stories. And I had a pitch called the Addams Family. It was the Adam with his family, the Addams family.
Right.
And then I had one was ArkhaManiacs, and one was Green Lantern Academy, and one was a Killer Croc series. All these kind of things happen, and like I had Superman, Superboy, and Supergirl. I think it was Super Cousins or something. But we pitched the first idea, or one was Super Pets too. We pitched the first idea, and it got shot down. And so my editor said, we're not going to show any more of these things because once it gets shut down, we can't pitch it again. So she told me, start putting all these ideas into Tiny Titans. So I put an Addams Family story in the Tiny Titans where Bumblebee met them, and then we ended up doing a few Green Lantern crossovers with Jeff Johns was writing with us for one issue, and we introduced the Lantern rings, and then we started putting Killer Croc in the Tiny Titans. He started eating stuff and walking around, and then the penguins were in there. So all these things kind of ArkhaManiacs kind of organically, is that right? Yeah, it developed from Tiny Titans and became its thing. But I never showed, I picked a few of them, like Clayface was in the Tiny Titans. He was in the Squishy Titans and a Killer Croc. But we had this whole pitch ready for ArkhaManiacs. And then years went by, Tiny Titans finished, Superman Family came and went, and then I started making Super Pet books. I made like 50 Super Pet books. And then when they went to the young author graphic novels, the DC Zoom, DC Kids, they asked, we had a meeting with DC. We went all the way to Burbank. We sat in the office, and they asked us what I want to do. Well, I said, what characters do you want? And I told them, I want Superman. And they said, of course. They said, my editor there said, of course, no one asked for Superman. And I know you'll do a good job with him because you know more about him than we do. I'm like, you're right. I know, live and breathe Superman. So after Superman, the next question was, we always wait for that one question when you're an artist. What else you got? What's next? So the thing I had was, it was funny because like we were at a dinner and we just met the new editor, the new boss of the DC Kids line, and we're eating dinner. And I remember we weren't too far from the show or from our hotel. It was like 4 blocks away. And my editor said to me, she said, I want to get to know you. So can I walk back to the hotel with you two guys? I'm like, sure. So we walked real slow. It was awesome. And I remember, I don't know, I'm probably making it up. Maybe she took her shoes off or changed shoes or something. But we were walking slow. And I remember I remember her saying her feet was hurt. Sure, she could walk slow. So we're walking like arm in arm, like, we're like the monkeys. Here we come. We're walking down, but real slow. And she starts saying, how did you, like, just the same question, like, how'd you guys meet? Where'd you come up with Tiny Titans? And then it came up, what else you got? And I said, just what I told you, I got this idea called ArkhaManiacs, where all of the bad guys, instead of being in an insane asylum, they're in an apartment building. And at first I had Batman would come by with Commissioner just to do the checks. He was kind of like the landlord a little bit.
Right.
Commissioner Gordon would be the landlord, and they would check on these guys. And then when one go escape Batman, I'd bring him back and stuff. But it turned into let's make Batman a kid, and let's make Alfred or Commissioner Gordon the superintendent of the building. He's like the janitor. So it all just came from that. And by the time we walked from that restaurant to the hotel, it was like pretty much greenlit the series. And when we got back, we saw the other editors and the bosses, and she said, I got this idea that he brought this idea to me. We're going to do this. And they all went, yeah, okay. Because I knew all the DC guys. It was like Dan DiDio and Michelle was my editor, and Jan was this early on, Jan Jones. So I got to know everybody, and I consider them all my friends. So it was cool, and that's kind of how it happened. So I know it was a long answer, but that's it, man.
No, thank you.
That was cool.
Awesome.
And so I can't wait to do more. Like, I think that's the last thing I've done. We've done one more thing that's coming out. Well, yeah, they announced it. It was Teen Titans Go to the Library, and it's Teen Titans Go characters, the way they look in the Teen Titans Go cartoon. And I drew 30 pages in there that I don't want to spoil, but if you know how I draw the Teen Titans, it's going to be like you're expect my artwork to be expected. It's probably what you think it's going to be, and I get to draw these guys for 30 pages, and it's really cool. And I had Franco, we wrote the story together. He gets the writer credit because they wanted to make the book faster because I had a lot of deadlines. I said, I don't need my name in the writing credit. Just let me draw it. And then it was real cool. But that's the next book. I think it comes out in January or February.
Oh, sweet.
So that's going to be another YA novel, a little digest kind of one. But yeah, man, it's fun. It's just, I love making all of these characters, and anytime I draw them, I always feel like the characters belong to me after a while, and I have to remember that they don't, that's my Bruce Wayne, but it's like, no, it's DC Comics Bruce Wayne, but it's still mine, So it's just so much fun, and it just feels good to be involved with this stuff. And anytime I get approached from any other publisher, they always bring up, can you make them tiny style or itty bitty? And I'm like, and I never mind that. And like, I like it, but I always want to do like a Bruce Timm style superheroes, like adults. That's what Superman Family was like. And we did superpowers for 6 issues, and that was real cool. Yeah. And I do my own too. Like I just draw all the time. I almost revealed what I'm working on next, but I can't. Yeah, I almost led to there. That was where I was going.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
But like, man, I can't. Like, I almost said something. Yeah.
Well, just a little. No, I was just going to say, just a little bit ago, you were talking about references, and the book has a ton of them. Like you have Ace the Bat Hound in there. You have Bob Kane's original, Batman outfit. Any small things that we might have missed for references?
Oh, I got two. I saw. There's two that I want to bring up.
What you got?
Well, there was Bruce Wayne's outfit when he's sneaking out. That's the outfit he wore in Batman Year One.
Yeah.
Bane quote unquote breaking him, but we really know
the breaking of the bat.
That's the Nightfall. First thing, Manny being Kirk Langstrom, Man-Bat, aka Vampire, which was also hilarious. You mentioned the Monarch Theater in the zine, which I thought was hilarious because Bruce was like, "Can we just stream it? It's a black and white film." And I was like, changing the destiny of Batman.
We've seen it a ton of times.
I think those are the two that, like, Leo, I wanted to ask because I was like, I reread it right now and I was like, that's his outfit from Year One. Like, that's perfect for sneaking out. I was like, clever girl.
And then and there's the other reference when he was feeding the birds and all the robins showed up, and then he goes, "You're gonna get used to seeing them, sir."
You're seeing a lot of those. And then Alfred's like, "He's like, what do you mean?" He said, "It's springtime." I'm like, those guys,
a lot of robins. You're gonna at least 6 or 7 of them, sir. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I counted 2. I was like, wait a second. I was like,
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
it's like,
But
God, there's so many Robins.
yeah, we go deep, man. It's so fun to uh, be involved with these guys, and I always tell people that if there was a degree in comic books, I'd probably have a PhD because I've been studying since I'm about 6. You know, I've been studying for like 50 years trying to I'm learning all these characters, and uh, like when they told me at DC, they said, "You know more about Superman than we do." I wasn't shocked. I was like, "Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Like, I know where he comes from. I know where he went to school. I know where his parents are. I know what he likes to eat. I know what he feels. You know, I know all these things." And
Mhm.
same with Batman and Bruce Wayne and Joker
Mhm.
and Alfred
Mhm.
and Commissioner. All these guys, and we've all been reading the lore for so much that we read. We've been reading Commissioner Gordon when he had red hair, and then when
Right.
Barbara was a baby, and then
Right.
I think he has a son too. And
Yeah.
so
Ugh.
even in the movies, you see all these things, and but it goes deep into the lore where these characters become part of our memories, part of our thoughts, part of
Mhm.
our what we do every day, and it's real hard to escape it. Well, not escape it. It's not even when you take a break, you come back and it's just clicks. It's all familiar again, and it's just the I don't know, man. Comics are like just a way of life, you
So,
know.
so I had one question just because again, my first introduction to you and Franco's work was Itty Bitty Hellboy, and we talked a little bit
Yeah,
about that when we did our interview at Terrific Con. But having read now all of Tiny Titans and whatnot, and I just kept imagining because now you said that it's all kind of in the same Earth or
yeah,
whatnot. And whatnot, and I was like, man, because the Titans are very crossover. I was like, man, I would love to see a Tiny Titans Itty Bitty Hellboy crossover. Like that would
yeah.
just kill me. So if that DC Dark Horse, let's get this rolling, please.
I know, man. And you know what? I did a show flyer for I think it was Denver Con where
Mhm.
I had Tiny Titans on one side and Action Cat and all of his guys on the other side, and they had that blue horse and the blue bear, and they were all
Mhm.
on a poster. And
Mhm.
then I did the Itty Bitty Hellboy cover where he also crosses over with Action Cat. So Action Cat is the link between Tiny Titans met Action Cat met
Nice.
Itty Bitty Hellboy and Ape Sapien. So that's where I think they're all tied together. There's little links that connect
Okay.
all these guys, and Itty Bitty Hellboy was so much fun too because right away when we got asked to do Itty Bitty Hellboy, we got an email from Mike Mignola and the editors at Dark Horse, and we were launching our Oh Yeah Comics Kickstarter, and
Mhm.
it was going nuts. Like we got funded in like 7 hours, 8 hours, and
Sweet.
and we still had like still got 30 days left, but
Mm.
we got funded so quickly that I got an email from Magnola saying, "Hey, we like this," and Dark Horse even on the same email they said if you want to stop your Kickstarter, we'll take over and we'll publish a whole line of All Yeah Comics. And I'm thinking, man, like why would I say no to that? But then I thought I want to see where this goes. I want to see how far I can take it. And
Right.
so I told them no. I'm like, no, I want to see what happens. And they're like, wait a minute. And then he said, well, how about doing a line of for us with Hellboy? I'm like, okay, that's better. So that's where that spun out. It was kind of like it wasn't the first pitch. It was first Dark Horse wanted to take over and just put out a line of all your comics. Then when I said no, then they're like, well, how about they didn't want to let it go. They said, well, how about Itty Bitty Hellboy? And right away I thought, yes. And I remember talking with Franco on we were watching our Kickstarter, but we're on headphones like this and we're talking, looking at it. And I read the email to him and he might have been copied on it too, but I immediately thought about Richie Rich and Hot Stuff and Casper. That's
Mhm.
immediately what I thought about what Itty Bitty Hellboy would translate to, making him Tiny Titan style, but more like Harvey Comics. And
Okay.
once that clicked, it was so easy to write those characters too. And I read a bunch of Hellboy books when they first came out, and then
Mhm.
I saw the movies, of course. But then I remember talking to Magnola. He said, "Don't give me anything that's been in the movies." So I had to go back and I think they PDF'd me a whole bunch of uh, comics to read. I read all of the early ones, and it was real easy. It felt so easy to adapt Itty Bitty to make him Itty Bitty Hellboy. And I remember it took me a bunch of designs, probably I would say 40 tries, like 40 roughs, and trying to get Hellboy to look right, because when he's little, does he have the long, because I know he shaves off his horns. Are they long? Are they short? So I made him, his little horns were little buds. So I thought, man, that was so much cool. And even in the movie, we watched the movie, and remember in the beginning of the movie, the army guys find Hellboy in the beginning?
Yes.
And when he shows up, even my kids said, Dad, there he is. There's Itty Bitty Hellboy. I'm like, yeah, it's him. So I said, I already have a movie, you know? It was a movie cameo even before I got to start. So that was fun, man.
No, it totally was. And it's funny because I remember you guys you had a little statue project for Itty Bitty with the pancakes.
Yeah.
And I've never spent $50 faster.
Oh,
but I was like, not only is that a story which Mignola himself is like, you know, I might have done that differently, but like being a breakfast fan, like I have that. And I don't know if I think I told Franco this, but I don't know if I told you, I have a little drawing that you guys did with the pancakes, and it's on our bulletin board.
Oh, cool.
In our kitchen. So every time I was like, well, time to make them pancakes.
Yeah,
you know?
puts you in a mood, man. Mood
Yeah,
for breakfast,
man.
coffee and pancakes, the best.
Yeah, nothing like demons and pancakes to start your Saturday.
That's right.
But it's also funny because I was referencing that, and Carrie asked me about Roger the homunculus, and she was like, why doesn't he wear pants? Am I missing something there? And I was like, he's the homunculus. In that world, you got to read the books. I was like, I can't explain this in a TLDR.
Like, he has like a belt that has a lock on it or something.
Yeah,
I forget, it's been a while, but he needs pants. Yeah,
exactly, Carrie. He's pantsless. This homunculus in the Mignola verse just evolved beyond pantalones. They are they're above.
Just Donald Duck in it.
Oh, 100% ducktail in it, man. Just woo. Just going it.
His undies to anybody who walks by. You want some? Here, you need some? Have my undies.
Oh, Carrie, I'm telling you, read Itty Bitty. You just gotta, when in doubt, just squatch. Just squatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch is in there too, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Every book I do, I always put Sasquatch in a lot of things I do. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I did Tiny Titans and sorry.
No worries. In addition to being a comic artist and writer, you have turned a childhood toy into kind of a love side hustle. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, my Megos? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been collecting the Mego figures since I'm like 4 or 5 years old. I was a little guy. I would get them for Christmas all the time before Star Wars hit, but they're the old vintage 8-inch toys with the cloth capes and boots and stuff. You could take off their clothes and stuff. But I've been collecting those forever, and then you grow up, you pack your stuff away, you go to college or get an apartment, and then when I come back to mom's house, or actually I went back and took my stuff from mom's house because I got married and we moved in here, and I started setting up all my toys. I got this big basement with shelves and things. I could put my whole collection out, and I started taking out my Megos, and then all of a sudden I go online and look, and I saw that there was this Mego community called the Mego Museum. And I'm like, wow, there's a whole bunch of guys like me who are rediscovering their toys, but there's a whole website built to this thing. And then I started going to shows. I met other customizers. I met other guys who make heads, guys who sew suits, guys who make repro parts. And I just started buying all these toys, and I've been going to Mego Meet since 2006 maybe. And it just became a huge hobby. But now I make my own characters. And at first when you collect figures and you think you got them all, and then you're thinking, man, why didn't Mego make the Flash or Green Lantern? Why didn't they make the X-Men? And so I started customizing, and now I have about 400 custom figures that I made.
Wow.
And I have like the Pulp Fiction guys. I have the Thundercats. I have all the Justice League. I have all the X-Men. I have all the bad guys. I made all kinds of bad guys. I made different versions of Batman and Joker, and I have a bunch of Superman. So I just keep making stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, Art, you just said that's a secret. If you ever do He-Man, the gentleman to my right would be extremely interested in putting in a
I will
custom order.
purchase.
That's
Oh, cool.
his bag.
You know what I did? I got a He-Man head that is because He-Man heads were smaller than Megos. They were squishy and they fit on a bodies, but they look like little tiny heads. So I had someone enlarge the head, and I put him on a body. I made him into Thundar the Barbarian. So he has the brown fuzz and he has the sword. Yeah, he looks real cool. I painted him up. Yeah, he looks good. And I'm working on Ukla the Mock, and I'm working on. I have a Princess Ariel. So I have all kinds of guys. I have a Skeletor that I got from a Grim Reaper head. It's just a skull head with a hood, but it looks like Grim Reaper. I'm looking at it, it's like, this is Skeletor. So I put him on a blue bodysuit.
Is there a place where we can see these art?
They're on I have my website, artbaltazar.com. There's a button for a link to my Mego customs. And
sure.
They're all there. There's a whole bunch of them on
writing
there.
it down.
Yeah, I was about to say that's let me drop that down.
Yeah, that's my home. That's like where you find everything. Go to my name, artbaltazar.com, and you'll see all my work, my custom Megos, my store page where you could buy my comics. You see my videos. Everything's on there. That's like my landing page, my launch pad. You could go on there and look around. You'll see links to everywhere, everything I do online, and I'm much cooler online than I am. Oh, go ahead.
Do you have like a studio you built these in?
Yeah, I have an art studio in my house. My art studio is Electric Milk Comics, Electric Milk Creations, and I have a studio as big as my house. It's the whole basement. So I have the water heater and the washer and dryer, but that's
Very
behind me
nice.
here. But then I have a lot of space down here. And I remember when I was working with DC Comics, and I incorporated that's my stuff. I incorporated my art studio, and so I had the official government guy come in my house, and he said, "I'm here to make sure that there's an incorporation at this address." I'm like, "Yeah." So he walked in, and we're walking in my kitchen, my living room, and he says, "You work here?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Well, I live in this spot, but let me take you to downstairs." And we came down here, and he saw the computers. I had like a big computer set up. I have 3 art tables. I have easels. I have paint. I have shelves with action figures and toys and comics all over the place, posters, and just the floor is covered with paint. And he said, "Oh, I see. You work here." It's like, yeah, if I choose to, I don't have to leave the house. All I need down here is a refrigerator, and then I'm good. and then I showed him all my stuff. Here's my incorporated computer. Here's my incorporated art studio. And then I said, "Here's my incorporated laundry room." And he went, "Okay." And so he gets it. Yeah. So it's pretty funny. And but yeah, these are all my figures. I make all these in my house. I do this as a side hobby, I guess, but I also make custom action figures and put them on eBay now and then.
No kidding.
Yeah, I made some customs called the Megor, the Jungle Chief Megor. So he was up there, and I like to make guys that are original. I create my own, and but I find myself going into having too many Supermans or Batman, and so I might put up some Batman and Superman customs up there. But I have I'm working on some Flash Gordon customs. I have a regular guy series because I have a bunch of heads that are just regular guys and a bunch of extra clothes, and then I'm just going to put out as a regular guy series. So
just real quick, I just want to let everybody know that's watching. I have all your links in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. So if you didn't catch his website earlier, just check the show notes, and I have everything right there.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, it's for the bodies and stuff, because I know you can't be taking Megos apart to be doing this, are you?
No, these are repro bodies. There's several companies that sell the repro bodies. I buy a lot of stuff from Figures Toy Company or Classic TV Toys, and then I buy stuff from, there was a company named Zika that would sell a bunch of bodies. There's Dr. Mego sells bodies. So there's at least 3 sources. On Figures or Classic TV Toys, they have a Type S body, which is like, I think is the best body in the business. I never broke one. And so, man, I have a ton of stuff. And I just did an ad, a comic book ad for a figures toy company,
Mm-hmm.
and they asked me how much do I want for it? Like they wanted to pay me, and I told them to give me $500 worth of bodies. And so I had this giant box showed up in my house. So I have like at least 150 bodies that I have waiting to get put heads and costumes on. So, man, I love doing this so much, and I wish I had more time. And usually I have like a free for all Friday or free for all Saturday because normally Friday night the emails stop coming in from editors, and me working vampire hours now, like my emails stop in the morning, but my morning could be like 8 o'clock in the evening. You know, it feels like lunchtime to me. But so after that, around midnight or so, midnight to 6 a.m., I just sit and paint heads and put suits and paint stuff and work on packaging. And so it's really fun. And I do a lot of customs that are just for me, one of a kind. But I'm going to start making a series of bodies and a series of figures. And it seems like I release like 10 at a time. I can make 10 where I'm comfortable. And people say, well, that's not a lot. I said, but if I try to make 20, it's like, it's going to take me 6 more months. So I'm like, because I individually paint each head, and I always paint something on the body or give them some kind of weird accessory. Like my last Mego figure, I actually gave him a real stick. I went outside to find sticks that might fit in his hand, and I painted him orange, and it was his staff in the book in the package.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fun. So I put those up there, and the last time I put them up for eBay, it was an eBay auction. They were all gone within the first like 10 hours. They're all gone, and I was like, I was amazed, blown away at that. And I know the Mego community is tight. It's not very big. There's a tight group of guys, and especially the custom Mego community is even tighter. So people who love customs, I bought a few customs from people in the past, and normally, but a lot of times I look at the custom and I think I can make that, and if I make it, I'll make it different. But once in a while, spontaneous, I'll buy one. Like one of my friends made a kingpin, and he printed the suit, and he had a head, and it was on a fat body, and it was like, I need that. And he had the staff had a little diamond on it. I'm like, man, that's a lot of work. So I bought that. I have a few customs. I have a Johnny from Fantastic Four, the Human Torch, Johnny.
Yeah,
it's Johnny Storm, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I thought Johnny Storm. Oh, I was thinking Johnny Blaze. Yeah, Johnny Storm. Man, those are cool last names, Storm and Blaze.
Right.
You know, maybe Johnny Winter, Johnny Freeze.
My Method Man took one of them on.
You seem so excited. You've got comics, toys.
Yeah.
There's 3 locations of All Yeah Comics. How do you balance the business and still having that youthful exuberance for what you seem to love? Like we just had on a few weeks ago, Keith Giffen, and he does not have that youthful exuberance for the characters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I get overwhelmed a lot. There's a lot of times where I just I got too much. Like right now, I got too much work too. I'm working on like here I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things right now. 6 books that I have to get completed that have deadlines. 2 are big things that I can't even talk about yet. But the others, like I'm working with AEW wrestling. I'm working with man, what can't I talk about? I can't. Let me see. I'm working on with paper cuts. I'm working a lot. My create your own book called Yogs. Book 1 just came out in August. I'm working on book 2 and book 3 right now.
Cool.
And so Yogs book 2 and the AEW wrestling, I'm currently penciling them and inking them and lettering them, and my other 2 secret projects. But it's like I think of all these things and I try to break it down using math, which artists aren't real good at math, but you discover how good you are at math. Like I'll take each page and I'll like, okay, if I do a page of everything, if 1 page of each project a day, in 30 days, I could have 30 pages of each thing done. That's like my mentality. So in 30 days, I could have like 90 pages done or 120 pages done or something like that.
Right.
Sometimes it works, but other times I just wear myself down. Or if I ink 1 page, I'll be in a rhythm and I'll do like 3 or 4 pages of the same project. So that kind of like the balance. But then most of the time, the balance is when I don't have to go anywhere, I tell my wife and the kids, I just say, all right, I got this deadline. I'm going to let myself slip into vampire mode, and I'm going to lose connection with all you guys for a little bit. And like, I work at home, I see everybody, but like my breakfast turns into their dinner. And so like we overlap, and I'm going to bed when my wife's leaving. Like she said goodbye to me today and I'm still working. And she told me before she went to work, she said, I think it's time you should go to bed now. And that's the one thing I forget is I don't have a sense of feeling of time. Like, and normally, what 2 o'clock in the afternoon feels like. You need a coffee, or like 5 o'clock, you're hungry for dinner, or 8 in the morning, your breakfast. Well, me, I don't know. Like 8 in the afternoon or 8 in the evening feels like, I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what noon feels like. Noon, I'm usually I've been sleeping for an hour. So it's kind of like the balance is I wake up and go. I wake up, have coffee, I sit down, and I just plow through this thing until I physically can't do it. And then I'll lay down, and then I'll get up again. But not only like comics, but I own co-owner of 3 stores with my friends for All Yeah Comics. So I try to show up there on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's difficult sometimes. I run my online store. I ship out packages all the time. I make music. I make real bad music, but it's fun. I make songs. I record stuff. So like I squeeze all this time. So like there's never a moment where I'm just sitting watching TV on the couch. I know I never have that. And if I'm watching anything, it's on this other computer while I'm working. I just stream, or a lot of times I'll just listen to live streams, like live shows. All my friends do live Zoom calls and stuff. I'll listen to all that stuff instead of watching Disney Plus or something. Like I watched that Ahsoka show, and I actually had to take time out. Like I said, all right, I got 2 hours. I'm going to sit and watch it. And that kind of messes up my viewing enjoyment because I'm waiting for something to happen, or I'm waiting to be done so I can move on. And I need to watch that again because I don't know if I liked it, but that kind of stuff happens. Like, man, I know the show was better, but I wasn't into it, because I'm thinking I should be drawing now. And I chose the wrong time to watch the show. I probably watched it the day it came out, but I'm like, I had my sketchbook on my lap, so I wasn't ready. So, but like stuff like that, and I don't know how it balances. I just get in the groove and keep going, and I sleep when I'm tired, and I wake up when I'm done, and I easily turn into this weird guy, like this weird train of thought, like if I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday. I wasn't gonna say it like he's pretending. No, I know it's Tuesday, but I've been working constantly since like last Friday. So it's the next day to me. And I know it's Tuesday because, the world, it's on my calendar on my phone. But
fair enough.
I don't have a weekend. I don't take a break. When I go to I was at Terrificon. I think that was the last show I was at, and that was my break. Or I was with I went to PowerCon. I went to a toy show. I drove my kids.
Oh, how was PowerCon?
Oh, PowerCon was awesome. And I wasn't going to go. And my son was home for the summertime from college. And they're watching me. They watch me, what I do. And I tell them all my projects. I get excited. And my son will listen to me when we're driving or when I'm just with him. He'll ask me about my comics and my projects. And it's weird. I hear from a lot of other artists and creators that nobody in their family reads their books. Nobody cares. It's just like, that's what daddy does. So, but when you tell somebody, like you tell a fan, they're like, oh man, I can't believe that's happening. They get real excited. But my son is there. He's in between. He's like, he likes read. He's the one who reads my books. My 2 boys read all the books. And my guy, Gordy, he'll read the books. But when we drive anywhere, I'm driving him around, he'll ask me about stuff. So he brought up going to PowerCon because they had a Mego meet there. It was like Mego meet hasn't been around for 2 or 3 years now because pandemic and all these craziness. And so they brought it back, and it wasn't an official Mego meet show, but PowerCon had 16 tables. They had an aisle, like 16 tables of Mego dealers all in a row. They were all in one spot. So I'm thinking, man, that's going to be cool. I'm going to go in there. And like, wouldn't it be awesome to walk in there and just buy all their stuff and leave. And then my son said, we should do that. I'm like, because I didn't set up. I usually set up a table, but I
Right.
wasn't sure how it was. So we went there. We left here on Thursday, went to Mego Meet Friday, and drove back Saturday. It was real quick. And then even my son said, Dad, we're like rock stars. We went in there, you bought all their stuff and left. And everybody's like, hey, who was that guy? So, but I know all the guys. I know all the Mego guys. It was real fun. So our whole, it was a 6-hour day on Friday to shop for toys. But we ran out of time, like 3 hours of those. We're just talking to the Mego guys. So we had to rush through the whole place to look at all the other toys. But the toy show is mostly like a He-Man show, Ninja Turtles show, a lot of 80s, like G.I. Joe, all the 80s stuff, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles. But there's a whole half of the show that is all customizers and small toy businesses, small toy companies. And they're all showing these everyone's got like warriors or barbarians, and like barbarian guys with animal heads, and like mythic sword guys, and I don't even know what these toy lines are, but man, they're cool. But there was a lot of vintage, and I bought a bunch of stuff. I bought like a Heathcliff Bank, that cat.
Nice.
I bought some Flash Gordon toys. I bought these guys. This guy was there. I'm a big Flash Gordon fan. I bought these guys. So I bought a lot of little things. So, but I bought Mego stuff. I got a whole pile of stuff. I got a show. I'm going to do a live toy reveal show. I'm going to show all the stuff I bought.
Nice.
But that was real fun. And since I got back from there, and then I took my son back to college, and now I don't have to take anyone anywhere for a while because everyone's back in school. So now it's nighttime to hunker down and just plow through. And after that, my last show of the year is in, I think, October, November. So between November and March, I don't have anywhere to go. So that's when I get a lot of my work done, man. I grow a beard, and I, forget to shower, and all that stuff happens. I just plow in it. I wake up, and like a zombie, you just come back and sit down and draw again. And that happens a lot. So I don't know. I think I answered the question.
You did. You answered the question and so much more.
Man.
Thank you.
And I've been like, I do so much stuff. And even this year, I tackled on the task of making monthly comics of my own books. So I'm printing my own books since January. I've been making monthly books, and they're on my website. And but my website has been updating since May, and it's driving me nuts. So I had from January to May, I had monthly books, and all of a sudden they stopped. But I still have them. They're still getting shipped to my house. So I'm waiting for my site to update. Update. And they're relaunching all the buttons and all this, whatever's happening.
Right.
But man, once hopefully by September, I'll have a whole line of books. I'll have like 8 new titles up there, and I got merch. I got all kinds of stuff.
Sweet.
I've been making, man, it's just so much fun. Like, man, is it cool? Like, I just love making all this stuff. And if I can't do this, I don't know what else I would do. But somewhere along the way, you fall in love and get married, have a wife, make babies, and then have a house, and all of that mixed in here somehow. And now I get to stay home and draw comics. So I don't know how it happened, but I thank baby Jesus all the time. Yeah.
Sounds like the dream.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, your entire conversation, I was just like, Jeremy can learn from this.
Yeah.
Jerry can learn from
I'm
this.
a huge root.
Leo, Rich. I was like, and somehow all roads end up back at Art's beard. So there we go.
That's right. Yeah, the beard comes back once a year. And I don't know how this happens. I even have I do a podcast with my buddies. Oh yeah, podcast. I do a YouTube show called Famous Cartoonist Says Things. I just do these things, and my kids ask me too. That right now they're the perfect age because they're asking about college, and they know what they want to do.
Right.
And I was waiting for this because all I tell them is, my son was. All I tell them is you just have to do it. I don't know how. You just have to start doing it. And my son told me he was talking about what he wants to do, and it's going to be difficult. I'm like, you just do it. And he says, he was thinking what he could fall back on, and I went, nope, don't put that. Once you start thinking about a fallback, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I said, don't have a fallback. You have to concentrate on that one thing. If you have a fallback, then you're going to do that. And because it's easier. And like, oh, why do you drive a truck? Oh, I wanted to be an actor, but now, driving a truck was easier. Like, well, then do you still want to be an actor? Yes. Like, so why did you start driving a truck? And even when I was growing up, I was around 20, 23, 22, somewhere around there. I was real discouraged. I was trying to make comics and trying to get a job. And I had like 12 roommates and all this stuff. I was trying to pay rent. And I went to this place called Beefy's. It was a place on the south side. They had the best cheese fries and gyros. And I walked in there and I'm thinking, I need a job real bad. I'm like poor. And if I'm going to work somewhere, I'm going to work somewhere where I enjoy the place. So I asked the guy, I said, you guys hiring? He goes, you want to work here? I'm like, yeah, I want to make the cheese fries. And he went, no, I'm not going to hire you. And he went, why? I said, why? He goes, you draw comics. Go home and draw comics. If you work here, you're never going to make comics. I'm like, you're right. And that was it. I'm like, he was right. He like unlocked it. Like, no, you're going to be the cheese fry guy. So that was it. That was like a moment of inspiration. Like you need to unlock that puzzle. You need to figure out that code and then, change your thinking. It's like listening to the Sith Lord. He might be right. No, he wasn't a Sith Lord. He's a good man. But
he was Jediing you right there.
Yeah, Jedi mind trick. Yeah. Wasn't even
These are not the cheese fries you want.
You don't want
to write the comics.
You want to get a job so you could buy the cheese fries.
Exactly. You want to buy the cheese fries for the whole store.
That's right. I want a sandwich named after me. Yeah.
I'm taking RDB. Would you like that with extra cheese fries? Yes, please.
Yes, that's what the B stands for. More cheese. What? No, I don't know.
So I mean, you can definitely hear your passion and your love for everything, and I just have to say it's extremely inspirational what you're talking about, what you're doing. I mean, I absolutely love it. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thanks, I'm going to look for Megos right after this show.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna get a drink and reevaluate life decisions and just erase fallback from my vocabulary, because I'm gonna be like, what would Art do? Art would be like, no, don't fall back, go forward.
Well, I had several jobs. I had 42 jobs before I was able to do this full time. So you got to have those jobs. And anytime I would get a raise or a promotion, I would quit the job. And I would go from like $7 an hour to $18 an hour overnight. And they would ask, well, you're quitting? I put in my 2-week notice. They're like, yeah, but we just gave you the keys to the store and, you're training people tomorrow. Like, yeah, but now I'm the supervisor now of like, it was Office Max. Now the Office Max, I don't want to do this, but you're getting, it's a good career. You have the company car, whatever. I'm like, I don't want it. And I'm leaving. And like, I never had a credit card. I never had cell phones. I never had any of that because I wanted to be, I kept myself poor, not on purpose, but that's the fallback.
Yeah.
To trying to do it, you become really poor, and you have to live with several people and wake up on the weekends and there's a new guy on your couch. Like, all right, maybe he could start giving us $100 a month for rent. You got to think of that.
Yeah. I've been to some conventions where that happens, so trust me. You just wake up and you're like, okay, hey everybody, who is that?
Yeah, who's that guy?
That guy?
They wake up in your room. Of course.
Yeah, it's just one of those where, okay.
Yeah, I would early on, I'd stay in a room with like 12 guys, and I remember my hotel bill being like $42. I'm like, here you go for the weekend.
Oh man,
you don't even have a blanket.
The golden years.
Yeah, sleeping on a backpack as a pillow right on the floor.
Oh boy.
Yeah, man, and I used to early on in the career, I used to sleep at state parks. I'd sleep right in my van. And the state park would, as long as there's a shower house, and you bring the alarm clock. And I had the wind up alarm clock because no electricity. It was like 92, 93. And as long as you could shower in the shower house, nobody needs to know you didn't have a hotel room,
Wow.
So that's, showering with spiders and scorpions. Yeah, it was pretty cool. There was a praying mantis in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, hardcore.
I like your style, man. You rode the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, Carrie?
Oh, You're reminding me so much of Henry Rollins when I've seen him live a couple of times, and he does the motivation. You're just not scary. Like he has all
No,
the intense stuff. And his beefy story is I was scooping Haagen-Dazs and I got a phone call, and I could either go start opening for Black Flag or stay in Haagen-Dazs.
That's
So
right.
that was his moment, and you're like, yeah, you just don't make me want to kind of jump out of my skin every now and then.
Hold on, Carrie. Are you telling me there was a time that Black Flag's Henry Rollins would have been serving me Haagen-Dazs?
Yes, I am.
Dear sweet God, that is the most terrifying 2 scoops I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That's the most metal thing I've ever heard of.
What flavors would he serve? You know,
it would be everything would have heavy metal or death.
Rocky Road, maybe.
Yeah, Rocky Road would be Rocky Road and death.
You want more peanuts? Yes.
Yeah, no, and God forbid if you ask, excuse me, are those gluten free?
Yeah.
God damn you! You know what kind of books are you reading? Oh boy.
Maybe it's just me. What? Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well,
actually, that's a great question. You know, what are you? I know you're extremely busy, but what books are you reading right now? Are you keeping up with any titles, or are you going back to old stuff? What
I
are you
read
doing?
every time I go to the shop, I pick random ones. I just read the first 2 Planet of the Apes books with Caesar. Yeah, it takes place in that movie world. Those were cool. I read the first 2. I wish that was what the movie was. They should make that into the 4th movie. And then I've been reading She-Hulk. I love the She-Hulk series. I've always been a fan of the She-Hulk character. And the show was like, I wish it was better. It was okay, but I learned to like it as it went. But the book is awesome. The book is what she's supposed to be.
are you reading the John Byrne era, or are you in like the Dan Slott era? Like, where are you?
I'm reading a brand new series with Jen Bartel covers.
Okay, nice.
I'm reading that. I'm reading. I have several things here. I'm reading some random Star Wars books I pick up. I still pick up. I like World's Finest, the Mark Waid ones.
Yeah, with Dan Mora. Nice.
Yeah, those are good. I read the Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans book.
The Tom Taylor book, right? The Titans one.
I think it's Mark Waid wrote it.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
It's a new one where
The
Robin
new one.
has
Right.
little green boots, but he has pants on. Yeah.
Okay, right.
That's cool.
That's just Titans, right? It's not Teen Titans
Yeah,
anymore,
the Tom Taylor one is just Titans, and then there's a Teen Titans one as well that Mark Waid is working on right now. Yeah.
So I pick up a lot of random books. I love that Jurassic League book was cool.
Oh yeah.
I read a lot of Headlopper. I was reading that one. I read a lot of. I just read a lot of random things. I like The Thing. Whenever I read the books, if The Thing's in it, I'll buy it. Especially the Thing series, the Clobber Time series. So that's what I'm reading currently. But I've always been a fan of. I read all the Walking Dead books and all the Invincible books. I'm a classic Man of Steel, Superman, John Byrne stuff. So I read I read everything. I pick up a lot of stuff. I got E-Junkie. My buddy Kyle read that from I think it's Scout Comics. But I read a lot of stuff. A lot of times I'll walk into the shop and my guy Joe will just hand me a book. He said, "Here, you should read this," and then I'll take it home. A lot of times I'll buy the books. I'll come home and read them, and I'll bring them back, put them on a shelf. Just say I read it, but I don't want to read it for free. I was like, no, I need to purchase. So, but the coolest part too is like when we were at the PowerCon, there was a comic shop in the mall there or in the convention center, and my son asked, "Let's go in there." Like, it's like, yeah, and I went in there to shop, but he started buying books, and I was real like impressed. Like he bought a few, picked them off the shelf. He put one, I forgot what it was, a kid who meets Superman, like Super City or something like that. I forget what book. He bought a few with Lando on the cover. So it's like we just buy random things. But I like doing that. I like shopping. Like when when I used to have a subscription at several comic shops, and I always make the joke when I go up there to get my books and she handed me the book and I'm like, wow, these are all the books I read. And she went, yeah, you have a subscription. Like, yeah, and I always make that joke. Wow, these are all the ones I like. And then she'd always never get the joke. But I like randomly shopping. like looking what's going to be good. And I'm a big fan of picking up a book in the middle of a series. And if I could read that random issue, say issue 34, and I'll read it and it'll make sense, I know the book is good. But if I read it and I'm totally lost and I have no clue what's happening, then I'm like, man, why? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
Who's writing this like that. And that happens a lot. And you always see, I post my pictures, like I read this and I liked it. I put it on Facebook and stuff. And people always ask me, do you ever read books that you don't like? I'm like, yeah, but I don't post them.
Right.
I don't say, why am I going to say this book sucks?
Exactly.
You know, so like someone might like it. Like I bought several books in our whole batch and I read them and I'm like, man, these were not good. And my son asked me, what didn't you like about it? Like, I don't want to tell you. I want you to read it because you might think it's great.
Right.
So he took a big stack of books to college. So we'll see. You know, sometimes like they're not all for me. I'm more of a superhero guy. But I do like reading scary stuff now. As long as it's good, I'll read anything as long as it's cool. As long as it's good.
So
yeah.
So Art, we're kind of past the 1 hour mark, and we do know that you're very busy. So, I mean, the only thing we have is we're going to go over some comic news and stuff, which you're welcome to stay if you want. But we also know that you probably have 5 books that are approaching deadline. You have about 10 action figures that need missing torso parts, and
that's right.
I'm fairly certain that there's some podcast stream that you want to listen to as well, and probably 2 shows you've already read that you want to also have in the background. So, you know, if you want to hang while we go over the news, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to kind of sign off here, ride off into the sunset with your nice hat and blazer, you know, we wanted to give you that out.
Cool, man. So. Yeah, I should go. My wife came home and she hollered down the stairs when she got home, so I'm gonna see what she's doing. I didn't see her since Wednesday, so I gotta go see what
Thank you so much for your time, Art. And those 2 projects that you couldn't tell us about, when should we expecting an announcement about those?
Yes, the one of them's gonna be announced, I believe, at the New York Comic Con.
Okay.
And the other one, I don't know when it's gonna be announced.
Okay, but before the end of the year for both?
Yeah, I'm sure. And the one, because one of them I start in October, and I'm supposed to be finished before May or June.
Okay.
And this other one, I'm excited. It's going to be cool. Just keep watching. It's all kind of stuff that I do already, but it's it's my style. It's my take on these things. So it's going to be cool. Like I can never draw like, I'm not a SpongeBob or Scooby-Doo type of guy. I can't, because they're gonna look like I drew them. So these companies let me do my own take on these characters, which is gonna be fun. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we look forward to it, man. So
that goes with that kind of. In Harley Quinn issue 0 from 2014. When they had a whole bunch of different artists, you got to do page 12, and she came into the Tiny Titans, and I was reading the lead up to it, and they wanted you to have her, you know, get them all bloody and decapitated and stuff. And that's not your continuity, but is that why she got to swear a little bit? And that was it was so much fun seeing all the different styles. So how much of your input did you put into what they kind of asked versus what you gave to them?
Yeah, Jimmy Palmiotti sent me the script, the story, what was going to happen. He wanted me to chop their heads off and kill them. And I said, I can't do that, because I told him that this story, that one page, is in the continuity of my Tiny Titan series, and it takes place in this time. And he says, okay. And I said, how about if she just threatens them with the hammer? She comes in and she's trying to kill them. And then so that's when they first met her. And then we did that Back to the Bell Rev book where Tiny Titans met the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And in that short, it was like a 10-page story. And in that story, Harley Quinn returns with a big hammer. She tries to kill them again. And it continues from that, like the thing that came out 10 years ago. So it's all part of it. And even in the Bell Rev story, Bell Rev,
we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Amanda Waller storms in. He goes, what's happening in here? And even Beast Boy says, Harley Quinn's trying to kill us. And then I thought that was real fun, because you can't say kill or murder in a kid's book, but I'd always have this change word to destroy, trying to destroy us or something like that. But in this one, I said, Beast Boy says she's trying to kill us. And that made me laugh when I was drawing it. And that continues from Jimmy Palmiotti's writing. So yeah, I self-edited that one. I say, Jimmy, I can't do this. I can't kill my guys, man. This is real. It's really happening in their continuity.
Right.
And he said, okay.
And with your continuity, they had the Dan DiDio picture that's in all the teeny tiny. Somebody asked on Reddit,
yeah,
why does the girl have that? And I go, because she took it from Alfred.
Yeah, because Alfred's a big fan.
There.
Yeah,
and it's a good thing that Robin has so many extra suits.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, like in the story, I think it was Alfred had the signed picture of Dan DiDio, and then little Cassandra, Batgirl took it, and then that same picture frame made it into ArkhaManiacs in an Action Cat story, and then I printed out that drawing, and there's a framed picture of that hanging in our store in beautiful downtown Skokie. So
yep.
Dan DiDio's visited several times at our store, and he always takes a picture with that picture.
Yeah,
it's an ongoing joke that keeps going. Yeah.
That's great. So Art, before you go, I mean, what's the best way that anybody can reach out to you, social media kind of thing, and what's the next show that you're going to be at? Just so anyone is watching, they know that they can put you on their list to definitely come by and get all that jazz.
I'm going to be at Baltimore like next weekend on a 6th or 10th or something like that, and then I'll be in Cincinnati in mid-September. I'll be in New York in October. Best way to find me is everywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. ArtBaltazar.com shows all my work. My email's on my website. So just find me. I'm all over social media. If you type in my name in Google, you'll find me too. And you might come up with George Clooney photos, but determine if it's me or him. I don't know. Or this guy, heavy schmolder right here. This is Alex, my friend Alex. I met him. This is Atuma. He plays Atuma in Wakanda Forever.
Oh.
And we became friends. We rode the bus together at Terrificon, and we just got to know each other. And he's going to be in Cincinnati as well. We'll probably hang out some more. Probably have some coffee, eat some cake or something.
Cool.
But, yeah, he's a good man. So I make him laugh, and we became buddies.
There you go.
I'm going to make sure he gets my phone number next time I see him.
There you go.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, Art, thank you so much for joining us, man. This has been absolutely great. And seriously, we can't wait to see what you, Franco, everybody has in store. And hopefully we'll be able to have you on again for another one of your projects. That would be really great. So, but good luck. Good luck
man.
at
everything
you're doing.
I'm going to go hunker down hardcore right now and see what happens.
Right.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Art.
You guys are awesome. Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely going to be checking them out for Mego customs.
Yeah,
I didn't know these things were like Thundercats and He-Man.
Oh, and that he sells them on eBay too. That's awesome.
Yeah,
right. He just kept saying things. I swear, I just kept seeing like little check marks reflected in your glasses. And I was just like, oh, he said the magic words. Jeremy's in.
Oh, he really did.
Like that was that you should have just did the shut up and take my money. You're like, here you go.
I didn't know it was such a thing.
It's a great inspirational interview for sure.
Yeah,
totally. And he's absolutely living a dream. Like, truthfully, if all of us weren't working, our 9 to 5s, like, we would be doing something like that. Like maybe not drawing, but, creative work like that, it's, he's definitely living a dream.
If we were all combined in one person with Carrie's sleep schedule, we would basically be Art. That's basically it. Yep. So, all right. So let's get to the news and wrap this stuff up.
Hop right onto it. So who had this?
Oh, that's going to be me. So in the new Blade comic, with the movie coming out, they've decided to upgrade Blade's power set. Now, they haven't said exactly what that is, but he's learning more things that he never knew by none other than Vlad Dracula, no less.
Wow.
And while it seems that they are having sort of this interesting symbiotic relationship and helping each other, Of course, Dracula has ulterior motives, so you should definitely check out the new Blade series and see what Dracula has up his proverbial sleeve, because you won't see it in the mirror, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, it's a cool thing, especially because, Rich, if you think about it, Blade has really upped his profile. He's not just a vampire hunter. He was an Avenger at one point. You know, he was just doing so much in Jason Aaron's run. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, at one point, wasn't he also like rocking the Darkhold? You know, the evil book that we saw Wanda have in Doctor Strange 2. So, you know, he's no longer just kind of an in the shadows guy. Like, he's the Daywalker. So it kind of makes sense.
I like that they're actually showing a progression of the character before they do the movie or whatever. Is it going to be a movie or a series?
It's gonna be a movie, but
Okay.
everything got put on hold because of the strike.
Well, yeah. But like that in the comics, that they're doing a bit of pre-work for it, instead of like what they did with Kamala Khan. Is afterwards they were like, oh well, we might as well update her powers so that they connect.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Actually, speaking of Blade, it's the entire series of movies are going to be moving to HBO Max.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's great, except the third one.
Yeah.
As are the Freddy Krueger ones there, Miss Carey. All going to Max.
Oh, that's good. I just watched the original. Huh.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Yes.
All right, next.
Yeah, what do we got here?
All right, so in honor of Batman Day, on Batman Day, which is September 16th, the Dark Knight trilogy will be on the big screen at Showcase Cinemas. So if you want to get your fix of seeing the Christopher Nolan and our good buddy Heath Ledger and Christian Bale as Batman, then head on out to your local Showcase theaters on Batman Day and check it out and see the triple feature.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say it's all three in a row.
Yes, sir.
Jeez, that's a lot of Nolan.
That's a lot of. Whew. I don't think I could make it. What do you guys? Three movies?
I would watch the first two and then leave before the third one.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
We have the beauty of our private Splash Pages server that I'm sure has all three of those movies.
Yeah. So I like having the choice, but definitely the first two, especially Begins, which I always felt was kind of the
Begins is great.
The underdog of it.
I'm sure there's some Uber nerds out there that want the theater experience one more time.
That's cool. Cool. But see, now, Jeremy, the killer would be if they did all three of those and the Batman. I'm like, no.
Ooh.
All right, no. Because if so, I would fall asleep during the last one to get that 3-hour nap and then watch the Batman.
Right.
But
the title
and the new recliners would be great for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'd fall asleep, you know. So speaking of the Dark Knight for Nolan, McFarlane is releasing a series of figures.
Cool.
They're Jokerizing the figures from the movie.
That's weird.
Oh.
Nice. Interesting, but weird.
So that's a Jokerized Harvey Dent?
Yes.
Yep.
I like the color scheme.
I do too.
Yeah, and it's going to be a Target exclusive for $24.99.
Oh, that's not too bad for a new figure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to get it, but that's still cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of McFarlane, there are a bunch of releases. I'll go through these really quick. Up for pre-order soon. He has a new Supergirl Rebirth figure coming out, and it's a gold label series. So I'm not sure what that means. But also for gold label, up for pre-order soon is going to be a Brainiac.
Is that from Injustice?
Cool.
Yep, Injustice Brainiac.
Nice.
And this looks awesome. Batman the Animated Series Bat
Cycle. Wow. Is that Nightwing's cycle?
Yep.
I'll skip on that.
That looks I mean, I don't need it, but God, that's gorgeous. Look at that.
And that's also a Target exclusive.
Look at that.
It looks very sleek.
The lines are beautiful.
there's a. Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say they have I believe it's a GameStop exclusive gold label, Batman and Raptor that come together, but doesn't look nearly as nice as that. That it's rather clunky in my opinion. But
yeah. Okay. Well, definitely check out
Oh,
McFarlane's
that's very
Instagram. There's a bunch of other figures that he talked about. So those were just the key ones that I picked up. So
Very
moving
nice.
down the list. So this looks interesting.
Okay, so
Spider-Man 300.
Spider-Man 300. This is me in celebrating Venom's 35th anniversary this year. Marvel is releasing what is called I didn't even know this, a facsimile reprint. So essentially, the originals for this, as Jeremy would know, since it being a first appearance of Venom, skyrocket. You see it for either a couple hundred or sometimes a couple of thousand. But facsimile reprints are great because you have these new fans who want to read it, but they don't have to shell out for it. Of course, it's a reprint, so it's not exactly as valuable as an original. But then again,
But sometimes,
Marvel,
sometimes they do skyrocket as well. Like the New Mutants 98 one, I know that went up in value, which is kind of shocking, since it is a reprint that comes out in mass. It's mass produced, so
absolutely.
But
I
sometimes they
think
are good investments.
I think the Action Comics one jumped up in price as well.
Yeah. So, but basically, Marvel is going to be doing that to celebrate Venom's 35th anniversary. As we know, this is that big issue. That's the end of Spider-Man's run on the black suit. You see this one, he's back to the red and blue. We see Venom for the first time. That cover we just saw, that's been referenced so many times. Style, like I can't even list.
It's probably one of the most homaged covers at this point.
Absolutely. But yeah, so that'll be
and
this one.
Just a correction, this is the first full appearance of Venom. He makes a partial appearance in 299.
Yeah, exactly. Hand. But yeah, so basically this will be released this year. Again, this is to coincide with Venom's 35th anniversary celebration. So for new fans, if you've always wanted to read that story, this is your chance. So keep an eye out for it on your local store. Next.
That's absolutely. It's so painful to see that because I told you guys this is the one that got stolen from me.
Oh,
and, oh my
God!
I'm
not giving you mine.
No, I wouldn't expect you to. I wouldn't expect you.
I'm sorry, Jar Jar. The actual most famous McFarlane one is the Wolverine with the Hulk and the reflection. Believe it or not.
I know that one's homaged a lot.
I was just watching a Todd interview, and he actually happened to mention that. So I thought it was worth.
Okay.
Pointing it out.
That one I do have.
Oh,
that is also a super beautiful cover.
So next,
how many of it do you have? Oh, this is me. This Tom King and Peter Gross for Boom Studios are they're making us a comic called Animal Pound, which is a darker take, if you can get darker, from Orwell's classic Animal Farm. And they've updated it for the 21st century America, where a two-party system gives way to fear and fascism in this can't miss event series. King and Gross will be joined by colorist Tamara Bonvillain and letterer Clayton Cowles for the Animal Pound. And number 1 will be available in bookstores on December 20th.
Wow. Just a little darkness for the holidays.
Yeah. Even the name sounds dark, makes me nervous to read it, Carrie.
Oh, that was cool. Who put that out? I'm sorry. No, the GoFundMe thing I just saw in the comments.
Yeah,
that was me. That's for the next story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, you got Tom King, who, as we know, is doing pretty great. I mean, we all loved his Riddler, One Bad Day. That was awesome. And Peter Gross is a fantastic artist. He worked with Mike Carey on Lucifer. He also did work with Mike Carey on The Unwritten. So he styles very much that nice detailed, but definitely with that nice horror tinge. Personally, I think that's a great combination, and I'm definitely going to check that out come December because I'm like Rich. I'm like you, Carrie. I'm excited, but I'm also a little trepidatious. So
Yeah, I love those dark rabbit holes though. They can be so much fun. And knowing that it's Tom King, I don't think he's going to butcher the adaptation type of, you know, I don't
totally.
think it's going to fall into just being like, and now we're doing a political statement. No, it's going to be like,
It should be good.
yeah.
All right. So what's next?
Well, Jabo just sent us this, and Rich, you want to give us the 411 on this?
Oh, I was not aware that there was a GoFundMe out there. Okay, so our buddy Joe Tortorello, who is a cosplayer that plays the 66 Batman character, the King Tut, has some health issues. He went in for a gallbladder operation a few weeks back and discovered that he has pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
So I talked to Joe earlier this week. And apparently he did put a post up on Facebook. So at first I was a little thrown off that his picture went up there, but apparently someone has done a GoFundMe to try to help him out. I don't know. He didn't indicate to me what his financial issues may be, but Joe's a great guy. Whenever he goes to a con, he gives everyone little toys with these little cards that say random acts of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy, hasn't had a fantastic life, but he tries hard and he drives kids to school, and now he's having some health issues. So I guess I'm sure there'll be somewhere links where you can go and check this out and contribute to Joe. He's a good guy, and I know he'd appreciate it. So
100%. Everybody, it's such an unfortunate circumstance, but if you can spare anything to help him out, his royal pharaohness would be extremely pleased and would put in a good word for you on the other side.
Mm-hmm. And his doctor feels confident they're going to be able to shrink this, because normally pancreatic cancer comes with people that smoke and drink heavily, which Joe does neither of any. So in lieu of that, he told me that the doctor feels confident they're going to be able to shrink the cancer and prolong the king's life even longer.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
Long live the king. Fingers crossed. All right. Thank you, J-Bone.
And I just put the link in the comments since that came in after the show.
Or no, to the side.
Or on the side. Might be on. It's on the comments, so it might be the side. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What's next?
Oh, this is Flash number 1. It is being, is it? You're gonna have to help me here. Cy Spurrier or C Spurrier?
I've said Cy Spurrier.
Okay. Cy Spurrier is writing a new Flash with art by Mike Deodato. They're pitching it as a cosmic horror story. They've also compared it to a cross between Immortal Hulk and the Saga of the Swamp Thing. And they're doing it with this really interesting panel structure. If you show the picture up there again, he does a 5x4 central grid, and then there's a lot of panels being taken up by one image, whether divided or not, but there may be some further bleed panels where they desired. And this just number 1 dropped on the 26th, and basically they're going to take all of the classic Flash characters and do a deep dive into them and give them a darker side going through. So
is this a mini series?
No, this is the new continuing series, right?
This is the continuing.
I believe so. Yeah. As far
as
all right, I'm sick of number 1s, but it does sound cool.
So that just dropped a couple days ago.
That's awesome. I mean, now I've read a lot of Flash this year, so I definitely can appreciate more of the intricacies in the detailed history of the Flash because of time travel. So to kind of Immortal Hulk that, I mean, there's a lot of ground you can cover, and there's always been a nice level of sinisterism with the Flash. So I think that's going to be great. So honestly, I might check that out. And Cy Spurrier, I mean, he's doing, I believe right now we're seeing him do a lot with Nightcrawler and Marvel. He's doing that new Superior Spider-Man with Nightcrawler filling in for Spider-Man, which I really do want to check out because I think that's such a cool idea and it's such a great change for Kurt. But I might check this out just upon what Carrie just said. Like, I think that sounds really dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're bringing all the spooky stuff, so I didn't expect to see Flash spooky stuff, but it's like, ooh.
Yeah, cool. Not the first character I would think of for horror, but hey,
why not? So what's next, Leo? Yes, I couldn't believe these. I thought this is totally funny, especially because I will be going to Disney in a couple of weeks, so I'm definitely keeping an eye out. So Disney announced that at their 2023 Magic Hat Pins trading event that was at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort, that there will be a limited release of Marvelized Disney pins where you're going to be seeing Disney characters kind of in place of classic Marvel covers. So you've already got Mickey as Spider-Man. You've got the Infinity Gauntlet, but instead of Thanos, you have Pete. Mickey is Iron Man right there. Goofy is the Hulk. You've got the classic Avengers covers. You've got the X-Men there. Honestly, I think this is such a cool thing. Being as that when I first went to Disney, my parents made a really big point to collect a lot of really great hat pins, and I have a lot that are no longer being made. I thought that was really cool, and it's a limited release kind of thing, so definitely keep an eye out for it, all my Florida fans and all Disney people, but I think that looks kind of dope.
Drew, I think maybe like a month or two ago, those were a bunch of like variant covers that Marvel put out, and so now
they're actual
immortalizing them in the pins. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely, I got to say, looking at all of them, I would definitely.
I like the Infinity Gauntlet one.
Yeah, I would do that one, and I like either Mickey as Iron Man or Spider-Man. I think that those are really cool.
Yeah, I like the Iron Man and the Hulk very much.
Yeah. So I was like,
Goofy.
I was like, it's this little detail in it, especially if you if you get a chance, look them up closer. Like the amount of detail that they really put into Marvelizing them, it's beautiful. But yeah, so everybody, please do your fans check that out. It'll be pretty cool.
So you're a pin trader, huh?
Like I said, it was something that I did when I was a kid, and I do it like a good button every now and then. There was a time when I was very much wearing a lot of blazers. I like to have a point, just have a single button on one of my lapels. It's just, it's a little touches, Jeremy.
No. I when I went to Disney myself, I always piqued my interest seeing all the people come around that were trading pins and stuff. It was kind of like a little geek convention inside of Disney World and stuff. It was pretty interesting stuff.
Totally. So, but yeah, so definitely keep an eye on those. So,
this is me. Hold on. Okay, so it seems that if I can get my notes to come up, which I can't, Kevin Smith is auctioning off all of his original art. And it's to go to help the Kubert School.
No.
And my notes are not coming up at all.
What's going on at the Kubert School, Jeremy?
What's that?
I was asking what's going on at the Kubert School that Kevin Smith is doing this.
If my notes would work for me. This is happening Wednesday, September 27th.
At 4 p.m.
Yeah, 4:30. It's where he plans to film the movie. 4:30 movie, comedy set in the 80s about kids who hop movie theaters. Smith says it's the move that served as the impetus for the sale. So they're. Oh my God, my computer is crashing on me.
Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is all a reduction that he's doing.
I pulled up the article.
It includes pages from Preacher, Hitman, The Demon, Batman, Green Arrow, Daredevil, Sandman. All of Matt Wagner's covers from Green Arrow will be up for sale. Expected to fetch, somewhere between 1,500 and 3,000.
Wow.
So,
Guys,
so
if
he
I
says,
had the money,
Oh, it's to help fund a scholarship
Yeah.
fund at the Joe Kubert School.
Oh, cool. That's really nice of him. But man, some people are
Sorry,
about
my computer
really
is messing with me right
It's all
now.
good.
no worries. I pulled up the article. So he says, my current reduction in home wall space is going to make some ardent comic collectors' dreams come true. His own original interior art or killer covers from his Daredevil and Green Arrow runs, picked through classic comic book graphics he's collected over the years. This will be a sale of the century, and a percentage of the proceeds will go to a scholarship fund at the Joe Kubert School.
Okay. Well, listen, I think that's really great, and listen, if I got excited just hearing that, so these things are gonna sell.
Yeah. So if you're interested, head on over to bardnersauctions.com. That's where you can find the catalog.
Yep. Okay.
And pre-bidding has already begun with lots starting at $10.
$10.
I'm gonna apologize in advance if I get booted from this because my computer's doing some crazy stuff right now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Next.
Who had James Gunn?
Okay. This is the James Gunn thing. Okay, that's me also. I thought this was cool. James Gunn, who interacts with fans via, it's not Twitter anymore, is it? X or something like that? Yeah,
I don't
X.
think.
Oh, he's not on X?
No, he's on Threads.
Threads. All right.
Yeah, he's not hanging with X.
But he's been letting fans know that he is now he has the entire DC catalog from beginning to end, whatever comics come out at his fingertips. But he states that doesn't mean he's able to read them all fully. Although he is finally all caught up on JSA. So the man is doing his homework. And that's a short one from me.
Hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, well, he's got his research.
I just think it's great how involved he is with the fans when even, shutting down the haters, but also talking up to the people that are, the fans, and letting them know, hey, this is what's going on.
Well, we saw that amount of dedication. I mean, when he was doing Suicide Squad, he read every issue from John Ostrander's beginning all the way up to current stuff. And that's another reason his movie was so good. He knows how to balance comic book expectations with realistic dimensions and also his own style. So that's why I think Legacy has a lot of potential. But again, it's all about, fans. So some will be disappointed, some will be enthralled, and some will get to see a new version of a character. So that's the only good thing, is there's always new generations growing up who are going to get to see this character for the first time. So we'll see.
All right, Leo next.
Here we go.
Okay, and this is one more me. Set in a new Jean Grey series accompanying the fall of X, they have decided to go back through and revisit the Phoenix saga. Only the Phoenix chooses Wolverine as its host.
Oh.
Wow.
So you can see how insane his transformation is compared to what Jean Grey's was. Yeah, and that covered in the middle. Those two were like little preview issues to show you him turning into the Phoenix. But the cover was actually done by Walt Simonson and Laura Martin, and that will be going on sale on September 27th.
That middle cover looks dope.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, it's always good to imagine. I mean, Marvel literally built an empire on what if, so
yeah,
why not?
Well, Phoenix also took over Spider-Man at one point.
Listen, Leo. At this point,
there's that.
Leo, at this point, everybody's been the Phoenix.
Well, it was another
Everybody's
awesome
been
McFarlane.
venomized.
Yeah.
It was an awesome McFarlane cover of Spider-Man punching Hulk into space.
Again, everybody's punched the Hulk in space by now.
Yeah, he did. I think he did that as Captain Atom as well.
So
Captain Universe. Captain Universe.
Yes. So then this next one is me. Everybody can stop asking us for the timeline. Marvel has heard the prayers and is working with DK, division of Penguin Random House, for the Marvel Studios Cinematic Universe, an official timeline. This will be released in October 2023. This is created in collaboration with Marvel Studios, endorsed by Kevin Feige, and is literally now going to be the go-to resource for fans who want to connect the dots and really understand all of the interconnections between the Marvel movies and the TV series. So we're going from the big band to the blip and beyond. It's going to include infographics, timelines, movie stills. This is going to be the go-to guide for any MCU fan. And finally, we can stop asking, where does this fit? Where does this fit in the timeline? And now finally we can be like, read the book.
And Drew, what is that going to cost us for our nerd coffee tables?
It looked like $17.99.
No, $17.99 for the Kindle version. If you want the hardcover, it's almost $90.
Yep.
Oh,
That's a Christmas
Kindle version. It is.
Yeah, right. But yes, that's October 2023, everybody. So start saving up now.
That's as much as a omnibus.
Yeah.
I wonder how thick that is.
Thicker than a Snicker, my man.
It's a Bible.
23 odd movies, right?
Yeah.
Rich,
and
at
shows.
this point, they can't even. So good luck, everybody. Save up. Mark Miller.
Miller, yes. From
All right.
Hellboy.
So Mark Millar claims the comic book industry is in the. I'm just saying this says Mark Millar in what I'm looking at. I don't know what the article
Brandon,
here.
correct.
Mark Millar, who wrote Superman, Red Sun, Civil War, Wanted, and Kingsman. Is it Millar or is it Miller?
It's Miller. Brandon
Millar.
Yeah, Brandon Powers made it very clear that it's Miller. It's a common mispronouncing. Everybody
actually, I talked with one of the artists at Terrificon too, and they corrected me when I went to say Millar, and they were like Miller. I was like, oh yeah.
So, I've read this article too. He talks about that creators need to save the industry, right?
Yeah, he wants his plan is to have like 20 of the comic book legends return to both DC and Marvel, and do 2-year runs in order to save the comic book industry.
Let's do it.
Have like a golden age of comics again.
Rich, I'm so for this.
It's an idea.
Bring all the 90s back. Bring the 90s back.
It's a legend who's throwing his opinion out there. We know the major Marvel and DC are definitely hurting on the comic side. The independent seems to be making more waves these days financially.
I hate to say it, when the price of a comic is like $5, it's kind of hard for a kid to go out and buy them. I mean,
yeah, let alone 41 copies.
And then, no, that you have no sympathy from us, buddy. So, but I think also I think they're way too reliant on crossovers, and that to me is what's turning me off. Everything is tying in. You have to buy all these tie-ins, and it's just the story isn't important. It's just it feels very filler. Like, so I agree. Is it the Mark Miller way to save it? I don't know. I'm not the one, but I can see the
I'd like to see it.
I can see the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested in seeing more of the characters that we don't get all the time. Get some of the villains to come forward and have, I'd like to see what happens with Blackout when he's not messing with Ghost Rider.
DC actually did a whole year of the villain back a few years ago, and like it was really good.
It has to be fun to see all of that, what's going on behind the scenes, because their whole life isn't just, maybe Joker's is like, I'm just gonna fuck with Batman, but
well, it's not just schemes and jail, Carrie. Yeah.
I'm about to apologize because we just had a meeting about being more professional, but Heather just dropped vanilla ice cream and apple blossoms in front of me, so I'm gonna have to be a little unprofessional and eat my apple.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I just wanted to say on that, I think they just need to simplify the comics. I think things have gotten too complex. It's too reliant on, something a writer decided to do, 20 issues ago that totally changed the comic and the storyline. And, I think they just need to bring everything back, stop making Spider-Man like Dr. Octopus or mind melding something else.
Also, Leo, can we stop bringing back old storylines and just slapping them on a coat of paint and acting like we won't notice? Gang war.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I have some bullshit caught in my throat. I'm sorry. Sorry. Can we move on to the next step? Oh, God.
Visual Effects Union.
Put down the blossom.
So, interestingly enough, both Walt Disney and Marvel VFX unions are both voting to strike. One already did, and one's about to.
Wow.
So as far as Writers Guild, Actors Guild, we're looking at a long time until we're getting some new entertainment, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Time to read, everybody. Let's go.
And good for that.
Short and sweet. Let's go back to the second string stuff. Let's read old stuff. Let's break out the books. Let's check out great stuff. Colleen Duran, I just noticed, is doing a Good Omens fundraiser and Kickstarter, and they're getting like forwards from the actors in the show.
Cool.
And it's great stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. So even though a lot of the mainstream stuff is disappearing, a lot of great stuff is still out there. So look for it. Have fun.
Thank you, Rich. You can return to your blossom now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, please. Oh, so this is me. Essentially, Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider, is going to be returning back to Earth 65, her home dimension, for what is described as a musical tour gone wrong. So Gwen and her band, the Mary Janes, are going to be hitting the road. And during the tour, we're going to meet Earth 65 versions of the Dazzler, Lila Cheney, encounter new villains, and more. So they're on a 4-city tour. Gwen has promised the band, it's all about the music. No web singing. I'm just doing the drums. But when a mysterious assassin targets the headliner, well, Gwen's like, well, shit. So that'll be written by Melissa Flores, art by Enid Balam. You got the covers by David Nakayama, with the variants by Elizabeth Tork, and of course the full variant cover by the beloved Peach Momoko. This is out December 14th.
She's like super popular, huh? Peach Momoko.
Oh, she's just ever since her covers, she's everywhere and everything. I know people who at New York Comic Con last year waited 2 hours to meet her.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never even heard of her before last year, and like
now she's everywhere.
Yeah, it's like holy crap.
Yeah. So, but
Good
by the
for
way,
her.
everybody, that is not an ongoing series. That's a mini series. But then again, the original Spider-Gwen was a mini series, and we saw how that went.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, that's that. Wonder Woman.
Oh, Wonder Woman. Okay. Former CIA agent Tom King has admitted that, and once again, my computer stopped working, that a lot of what he's using in the new Wonder Woman is fake news from Trump era.
Interesting.
Yes. I hope I don't make anybody turn off the splash pages because of this.
We just lost everybody.
Everybody's gone, Jeremy. You had to open your mouth.
Well, you didn't write it, Jeremy.
No, I did not. And I wish I could tell you more, but I am not having a good time with. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So DC Comics. Nope. I'm lying to you. Computer is okay. DC Comics writer and former CIA agent Tom King, who also happens to be one of the announced architects behind James Gunn's DC universe, recently admitted that his upcoming Wonder Woman story is inspired by fake news about Donald Trump.
Okay.
Now, speaking with CBR about the upcoming series, King was asked about his idea to have the United States government pass the Amazon Safety Act, that bars Amazons from U.S. soil. The plot point was revealed in the comic's official description, which states, after a mysterious Amazonian is accused of mass murder, Congress passes the Amazon Safety Act, barring all Amazons from U.S. soil to carry out their plans. The government starts a task force, the Amazon Extradition Entity Acts, to remove those who don't comply by any means necessary. It concludes, now in her search for truth behind killing, Wonder Woman finds herself an outlaw in the world she once swore to protect. So, for all you that are looking to get into Wonder Woman, I would suggest you be of a left mind.
I'm interested in Tom King's run, but I don't know. Something about this doesn't sit right with me, because I feel like when you mesh real life things like politics with your work, I feel like it always creates a divide, and not in the best way. Like, everybody should be entitled to their political views, regardless of what they're. Obviously, I'm not saying anything of extreme prejudice should ever be allowed to be printed and printed on their work. But at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like this is kind of inviting trouble.
I've always liked that comics are kind of the forefront of what's going on in the world. I do agree that this could definitely cause more angst amongst comic readers, dividing us more. But I would hope that some could take this chance to look at it and maybe, take it as, a little poke at their side and laugh along.
Well, not to add any, major commentary against it. Like, looking at back, the political jabs that used to be done in comics, it was just small little jabs here and there. Insiders would get it and other people wouldn't.
Right.
But politics has changed recently, where it's more like a religion to some. Like, back, 10 years ago, nobody cared about politics. Nobody cared about, like, who was in the White House, who was, the senator and whatnot.
Right.
And now it's like you say the wrong thing about a politician, and, people take it personally.
Right.
And they go on the attack. And, it's really changed our dynamic as a nation, which is crazy. So I agree, Jar Jar, definitely, it's good for comics to be on the forefront of that. But also, Drew, it is inviting some trouble, because you have some very, some people out there that are not passionate, in the right mind. Well, they're passionate, and you also have people that, want to make bombs and go blow things up.
That's true.
It's about walking the line, and it's not the first time Tom King's dealt with controversy, but it's like I said, it has to be handled in a way that, like you said, Leo, balances kind of poking fun at things, but then still telling a Wonder Woman story. And
if that wasn't in the marketing, Drew, maybe if that was just part of the story and they weren't pointing that out to us, and those who got it, and those who didn't, and were able to form their opinion after reading the story.
I don't know. Maybe
that would make it feel better.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, Rich, it's the same thing. Like, anytime we have a nerd movie, we see a trailer, the fan base explodes. I mean, come on. Don't you remember back in the day, Heath Ledger is the Joker? What, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You? He can't pull that off. Here we are.
Right.
Mr. Mom is Batman? What?
Yeah.
I love the kangaroo cover, though. There
you go.
Sorry.
Thanks, Carrie. That was wonderful. Unexpected and just great out of nowhere. Thank you, Carrie.
What else we got, Leo? Is that it?
Oh, yes. So, following up our discussion about Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti's Gods, Marvel has released a couple of variant covers and also some preview pages, primarily showing Win, who is a character who, in Scotty Young's hilarious variant cover, gets mistaken for Doctor Strange, even though he is not. And also another cover, again, Jeremy, by Peach Momoko, showing Aiko, who are devoted members of the powers that be and the natural order of things, who are two factions that are going to be serving the omnipotent forces of the Marvel Universe, like Eternity, Infinity, and the Three-Headed Living Tribute. This is the Peach Momoko cover, everybody. Absolutely gorgeous. This is the Scotty Young cover, which is, I'm sorry, I thoroughly love anytime Scotty Young is coming up with his stuff, because he is so fucking funny. And literally, the characters are asking for his autograph. It's like, I'm not Doctor Strange. You have a mustache and beard? Is what's that strange in your hair? Do you do magic stuff? Yes. Hey, Doctor Strange, can I have a autograph? But so the preview pages that Leo just showed, if you couldn't mind, Mr. Pond, again, you have Wynn and one of his associates finding a John Wilkes Booth penny, and then meeting, as we recall from Guardians of the Galaxy, the Collector, and essentially bargains a trade for said such penny, being that the penny is actually from a parallel universe. So thus its value is incalculable. So essentially they're able to trade a John Wilkes Booth penny, which as we know would be a traitorous trade, for a book and a some sort of variation of a clock. Again, this is John Hickman doing his thing, and being that I've read a lot of great Jonathan Hickman books, East West, Shield, and a lot of other great stuff, I'm actually excited to see what he does with magic. We've seen what he can do with X-Men, so I'm like, okay, let's try this. So, what do you guys think?
Cool.
Sounds good.
You know,
Yeah, I'm
they
interested to check it out.
from earlier descriptions that you've told us, Drew, with them getting into sort of the omnipotent beings in this, they're certainly not dropping a lot of information about that. So I don't know. I think that's a kind of a weird move with the marketing, but we'll see. I know they just dropped the trailer today, animated trailer, so maybe that will make it more exciting. I did not get to watch the whole trailer. I watched like the first 20 seconds and then got distracted by something else.
Okay. So is there, Mr. Pond, is there anything else? Oh, yes. So this is the Stanley Art Gem cover for the new White Widow series. So this is, as we know, Natasha Romanoff's sort of sister, Yelena. So this is her new series that's coming out, where, again, because of her popularity in the MCU, we've seen her in other things. Like, I believe she's going to be a member of the new Thunderbolts that Bucky Barnes, aka The Revolution, his new name, is doing. It's going to be a 4-part miniseries. It should be coming out, I think, sometime near the end of this year. But again, Stanley Art Gems covers are absolutely gorgeous. So I figured, why the hell not?
Yeah, it's a nice piece. Sure. Beautiful piece.
Absolutely. So essentially, she's choosing her own path. She's been a super spy. She's been a rogue agent. She's been the shadow of her sister. What is her next role going to be? So, yeah, I see here it's going to be on sale this November. So check it out, everybody.
Leo, you're muted.
Leo, you're muted.
Sorry, that is it for the news items.
There is actually that's not true, Mr. Pond. Before we do end, me and Mr. Velvet J, we do have to give tribute to two very prominent people who passed away this weekend. Velvet,
I don't have pictures for it.
It's fine. We already know who they are. Velvet, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Why don't you go first, and then I'll just finish it up.
Well, it's true. The price is right now. So everybody, we all found news this weekend that the legendary host of The Price is Right, Bob Barker, has passed away. The man was 99 years old. The host of The Price is Right, Truth of Consequences. He was an Army veteran. Of course, we all know him for the advocate for animal rights and animal right activism. 50 years on TV, still made the occasional thing. And as I like to remember him, beating the holy shit out of Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore.
He was also a huge advocate for spaying and neutering your animals.
And my other favorite thing, being the original, yet not true, father for Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother. So, again, 99 is a hell of a run. There was a lot of really beautiful tributes. Of course, also one from Adam Sandler, recalling how he got the royalist of ass swimming 2 times. So, hopefully, wherever he is, he's hosting just like we would expect him to do.
Isn't it interesting that he passed at 99? You know, right under that dollar mark.
Jar Jar,
No.
even though it's really close to the end, get out. So everybody, Bob Barker, R.I.P., and Mr. Velvet Jet.
All right. So in addition to that, the great Arlene Sorkin also passed at the age of 67. Most of we know her as Harley Quinn in Batman the Animated Series. For those who don't know, she started off in cabaret groups doing comedy with her own group called the High Heeled Women alongside Mary Fulham, Tracy Berg, and Cassandra Dans. She is prominently known in the soap opera world as Calliope Jones, as seen on Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
Now, in that is where the inspiration where Harley came from. Apparently, she was college friends with Paul Dini, who we know wrote Batman the Animated Series. And he had seen her work and was inspired by it to create the character of Harley. And then he later asked her, of course, to voice it in Batman the Animated Series. She went on to do many of the video games, and she ended up retiring in 2012 with DC Universe. Her last episode was called The Last Laugh.
Yep.
Unfortunately, she did suffer in the latter part of her life with MS. She'll be greatly missed. Her voice acting skill is amazing. I mean, there are some people that have played Harley. I mean, Tara Strong certainly has picked up to emulate Arlene's style, but she will be dramatically missed, and it is a sad day in the nerd world. And hopefully her and Kevin Conroy, who we lost last year, will be hanging out in heaven, in Bat Gotham heaven together. So we wish her well on her next universe, and we wish her husband the best of luck. His name is Christopher Lloyd, not the actor Christopher Lloyd. He is the producer who is best known for Frasier and Modern Family. So, and they have 2 boys together. So good luck to them in their grief and in our grief in mourning this great woman.
Now, is that Fraser or Frasier?
Frasier. The TV show.
Okay, then. Now, Leo, now we can end the show.
Okay. Well, on that note, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening, and for checking out Art. Definitely showing us up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Same thing for me. You can find me just about everywhere. I do a bunch of shows during the week. I do Splash Pages right here. Also, Still Token With and Midweek Geeks, and also Comics Paradox and The Dork Knight. So a lot of stuff going on. Head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the shows there. A lot of awesome other shows on the network. And I'll toss it over to Carrie.
Hey everybody, when you don't have me hanging out here with these lovely gents on The Dorkening, on Splash Pages and Midweek Geeks, you can find me over at the Owlite Network, where we do a bunch of different shows, mostly based around storytelling and some different aspects, like we do Tomb of the Terrible, which is about B-movies, And we have campfire getting-togethers and just our author interviews, a lot of great stuff. We just had our season finale show last Sunday. It went for 5 hours. We will be chopping that up into smaller segments.
Who won the cryptid fight, by the way?
Actually, it was the Gator Man or the whatever. Yeah, because Bigfoot had been far too injured to. He went into the fight 25%. So it was very graphically explained though. Anyway, if you want to go back and find out what in the hell we're talking about, you can find that over on the Owlite Network on YouTube. But yeah, if you want to find me, go to Carrie Sanders, spelled right there, on Facebook. You'll see a crow. That's my avatar. That is me, and all of my links are there, and a couple of them are thrown around here. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Jar Jar.
Hey, that's a wrap, folks. You can catch me here and on Midweek Geeks on Wednesdays at 9, and sometimes on Still Toking on Wednesdays at 7. And also look forward to next week. We will be dropping the very first episode of The Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter, which I believe, covered the movie, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in it. So please check that out when it drops. And if you are in the Virginia area, Virginia Beach, go check out Tidewater Horror Convention, September 8th through the 10th. I'll be there.
I swear you totally picked the wrong name for that show. It should have been the Jar Jar Narnar Hour.
Jar Jar Narnar?
Yeah.
I can always go back and fix it one day.
There we go. Velvet Joker.
Hey, it's your man Velvet J, and when you don't find me here on the award-winning Splash Pages, you can find me online. Here on Facebook, I'm known as Rich Davis, or you can find me on YouTube and what's that Tiki-Tockety place? You can find me at Velvet Joker 1, where you can find all my news and nerd content.
Yeah.
Good night, people, because it was a fun night. It was great with Art Baltazar. Unfortunately, we had 2 deaths at the end of the show. We usually like to end and then bring it up, and we just ended and brought it down. But now someone's going to bring it up.
Dear God.
Good night. Have a good evening. Do something. Move on from my picture face.
And it's going to be me.
Mr. Drew.
Dear God.
To be you.
All right. I'm going to make this very clear to everybody. The show is over. We're done. Okay? Thank you for being here. We're very happy. We hope you'll come back. The goodie bags are in the mail. If you don't get any, sorry. Okay? I'm Drew. I'm here every Tuesday, usually. I'm very happy to be here, even though I don't look it. It was a great show. It was a great amount of news. A lot of people. Sorry about the downer ending. Shit happens. Somebody's got to deal with it. And I'm too tired to take your call. So if you need me, I'm Drew Malo. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Ghostbusterman1984. Shut up, Leo. And I'm also trying to get back to working regularly with Screen Rant. There's a lot going on in the background there. So so depending on what happens later, I might end up on another show. But until then, thanks for joining us, and see you next week when we'll have DC writer Paul Kupperberg on the show.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned. A lot of good stuff coming.
Awesome. So that will catch you later. Bye.
Bye.